Okay, okay, okay. Forgive me if you see me laughing. It's just amazing, right? I'm always telling you about these cults within our community. They're not just limited to white people and this, that, and the third. These cults, the woke community, right, is set up to lead you on a path of destruction, not only for yourself but for the people around you, depending on how deep they infiltrate your brain. Right. So I'm laughing because if you know me, I go in on them. I go in. I know that they are the reason of the Nation of Islam. I know that they are the reason of, the 5%, which I actually do have a major respect for. Out of all of them that came out of that system, I do believe that they're all people, you know, in that organization that wants the truth. They just under a spell as well, right? And you got the Malachi York, he told you he was a Moor, and all of those groups that came out of that thing. How that came, like it was the 360, and he came up with what is it, like the 740 or whatever 720, right, degrees and all of that. So it's like basically, there was another cipher and he brought in this other cipher. Nonetheless, this is breaking news. So I wanted to take y'all over to the story, right? Let's see here. Let me pull this over for you a bit. All right. Woman pulled over by police told them American laws don't apply to her. Right. Now, as a revolutionist, you know what I mean? I'm a revolutionist. I'm a black revolutionist. I'm not revolutionary. I'm a revolutionist, right? I do know what makes you a criminal in New York is just being black, period, right? So that, just being that, you could wind up, Jalen Walker or Sean Bell or Abdul Amin, like there's just so many, examples of just being black in America is criminal, right? So for these people, to spread this type of foolishness is above and beyond me, because you find, this lady, let me pull her up, you put in this older lady in a situation, right, that she's most likely believing inside her head, right? Me, as somebody who been through the system, I know that the law is real. I know that there is a way to fight the law, and I know that there's a lot of things that you would just be wasting your time on if the system is set up against you. You understand what I'm saying? Number one way to have the system set up against you is have nobody there to represent with you, right? And I'll be getting into that, right? So anyway, right? We have a North Georgia woman, right, is out on bond, right, on several charges after she told police that Americans' law do not apply to her. They don't apply to her. Right? So this lady right here, we need you to, let me make this clear, right? This is the lady that we talking about right here, right? All right. Right, and now this comes from WSBTV.com. Staff ID that the woman tossed at officers identified her as Joyce Marie from Blue Ridge. Right, this is what it says. Okay. So the officer said he saw the woman driving oddly and thought, she might be drunk. He pulls her over and found her in a very strange situation, found himself in a very strange situation. The driver claimed to be a member of the Nation of Moors. All right? And these guys right here, the Nation of Moors. All right? Tell you people all the time, watch them. They will put you in a peculiar situation with no need for American laws. Right? Right? With no need for American laws. Do you have your license with you? The officer is heard asking the woman on police body cam video in the incident. Now, let me say, man, I remember up in what is that shit like? I want to say Rhode Island, and they was heading over to Maine, and they had the guns and all of that in the car, and they telling them the same stuff. I could go through a lot of incidents where these guys place this imagery and stuff in your head, and the thing is, you have to be precautious due to the fact that they actually, like I said, there's so many, organizations, anything about Freemasons, that it's a constant break off. So once you think that you're familiar with one, they break off to something else. That's how you got these young kids in the drill music, the woo and the chew and all of that. And these are break-offs from what already existed, unified certain things, and then go out. And so they don't know, and the adults don't know, so there's like a loss in communication, right? Okay. So do you have your license with you? The officer is heard asking the woman on police body cam video of the incident. I don't have a license to drive a car, the woman told the officer. The ID that the woman tossed at the officer identifies her as Joyce Marie from Blue Ridge. Here's the funny part, right? The ID was labeled an American Global ID in Liberty Pass, expiring in 170 years. Right? The ID was labeled an American Global ID and Liberty Pass, expiring in 177 years. I don't know if this would be considered it, and I don't know if I would consider it an ID, but that's what she claimed it to be. The officers, Ted Sadowski, sorry if I didn't get Sadowski, right, with the Duluth Police Department. That was when the officer asked the woman that stepped out the car. He was like, yo, listen. Okay, now, let me say this, right? I never was down with any of this stuff right here. So I remember one time, I got stopped in New York. I was driving, right? And, but I told them straight up, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a license. I told them straight up that, the car basically I bought from somebody else. I still had the person's license plates on it, and stuff like that. So I kept a G with them. They let me go. They literally let me go Not because of anything other than the fact of them actually looking for drugs. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in New York they have like different, at that time they had different like police crew. So you had those who was just doing the regular, right? Then you had like the undercovers who was looking for guns, and you know you had those looking for drugs. Like if you're looking for drugs and you find a gun, same damn difference. But that, pardon me there, right? But then nonetheless, right, you know, they wound up letting me go, telling me, yo, you know, you could catch a whole bunch of fines for this. But they was, you know, under one of those units, and they didn't really have time to be arguing with me. So this is totally different in this situation, but I carried G. I didn't, you know, I was on, you know, basically, you know, young and ignorant. You know what I mean? I know I wasn't supposed to be driving the car. I knew I didn't have a license. I told them, you know, I was just coming to visit my grandmother. They had CT plates on the car. So the officer was like, yo, you know, you can't, like, Babe was basically saying something like, you can't go on a red. Like, you can't make a turn on a red. Like, you know, it's like a law up there. I was like, I didn't do that. Even though he knew I didn't. You know what I mean? So they just seen the Connecticut plates and had young, you know, black dudes in the car. So, you know, that's that. But I never once, like, if you know me, I'm the type of person that, if I know I'm wrong, I'm not going to give you no hard time. If you lock me up, you lock me up. I'm not fighting back, you know. But if I know that I'm not wrong, then you'll have a problem with me. Those are one of those times I wasn't wrong. And I mean, I wasn't wrong, so I wouldn't give the officers any problem. It's like you doing your job. I understand the difference in the two. I don't mind. Like, this is my thing. Like, when I was younger, I used to think, you know, saying after police was saying like F all of these racist people. You know, as I got older, I realized you could be saying after police, but you won't be even necessarily talking to a racist person. So, you know, me, I never one of them people that the Stop Snitching campaign. I got off the After Police campaign. Not to say that if it's a dirty cop or anything, I'm not calling them out. But I don't live my life saying, you know, after police, and I know there's, you know, correction officers was 1,000 times worse than the police officer. There's nobody watching the correction officer who could take your life, and it's just marked off as nothing. So anybody who's yelling after police should be concerned about the prison system. Right. And so that's two different things, because, you know, if the legal system, period, is only one device of racism. Right. So I'm fighting racism as a whole, not an individual just because you hold a job. I know that job, you know, what it entails. And I know that not everybody in that job is on the same wave. Right. So, you know, that's what I'm saying about that situation. So let me keep going, right? He says, I don't know if I would consider it an ID, but that's what she claimed it to be. The officer, Ted Sadowski, right? Sadowski, right? With the Duluth Police Department. That's when the officer asked the woman to step out the car, right? After several minutes of the woman refusing to get out, the officer pulled her out. Now, let me show you another reason why I was laughing. The woman was actually on the phone with the man she was on the phone with claimed he was the consultant general of what? Oh, let me highlight this here. All right. Let's put that there. The consultant general of the nation of Moors. right? And that she was a member. So a lot of these people, I'm telling you, they're getting indoctrinated and don't know that they are being fooled and tricked. So she's on the phone with this consultant and she's basically repeating the nonsense that he's telling her. These are the same people that was selling you the Moorish cards. Like, basically you was signing over your sovereign, you were signing over your legal associate, and you was claiming yourself sovereign and you're part of Morocco and all of this nonsense. These are the people who put this nonsense out towards us. So if you were not aware of what's going on, you would be completely fooled and don't know that these are the people who are in these other things. You listen to them on Clubhouse and, these are them. These are the people who's putting it out there, right? It says, I don't have a license to maneuver. You do not have to have a license to drive a car, Marie told officers. I got a driver's license. I took my test. Came home. After I came home, I got a driver's license. I never had one before then because I wasn't really a driver. I would own cars, not drive them, and, let other people drive them or whatnot. You know what I mean? But I always knew the law. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I only got stopped at one time. Like I said, there was a brief moment in time where I was taking those risks. I was in a situation one time with somebody else. I was driving, but they was in there and they was, erratic. No cops around or nothing. So I basically dropped them off somewhere, pay for them to get on the train, and I kept it moving. I went back, met up with them. I said, I'll get up with you when you get back in town. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just leave it like that. But because of that incident, I never traveled with people again when I was dirty. You know what I mean? Or in that, when I say dirty, I can mean just driving without a license, dirty. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't do that no more because I know that I'm already wrong. I don't need somebody else making me arguing with you and all of this nonsense. Like, nah, I'm not for that nonsense. Right? So, she's telling him, this is Marie again. She's like told the officers, right? So he's telling her, basically, yes, you do. The officer told her, no, I do not, Marie replied. She claimed she was a sovereign citizen, right? Oh no, she claimed she wasn't a sovereign citizen, right? But like he said, but that's sort of the telltale sign of one. He's like me in this situation. I know those people who say certain things, so I agree with them. Yeah, she claims she wasn't a sovereign citizen, but usually that's one of them things where you can pick up and say, yeah, here we go with the nonsense, right? Right. She goes, I am not a United States citizen. You are going to get in trouble. So she is. She didn't know what sovereign was, but she was basically, repeating the rhetoric. I am not a United States citizen. You are going to get in trouble, Marie told the officer. Right? Police say they later found marijuana in the car. Georgia is not legal to smoke weed, right? It's not legal out there. She was booked in jail under the name Joyce Baisley Ali. Right? So right there, she's down with the system. I told you that's the Moors and Bays and all of that. And spent 2 days behind bars before making bond. Right? Channel 2 Action News could not find anyone by that name in Blue Ridge or Georgia to contact for comments on this story. Right? So, like I said, man, people do not know that they are being, bamboozled, hoodwinked, or any of that. They are getting pulled into this because they hear it. And, I speak to you about hypnotism and mesmerism. And occults, and this is what it's used for. Well, partly a part of what it's used for, but mainly through these occults is how you get this shift in society. So when I read the news and they say is America on the brink of a civil war, yes, because of this woke stuff. But the thing is, don't think that they revolutionists and any of that. No, they are under those who are controlling that system. You understand what I'm saying? The Moors are just Freemasons. So, they'll let you know that. I pulled up articles. I showed you the Druze and all of that. So when you see these people, you might not even be aware that you are being indoctrinated and initiated into this system. You wouldn't understand, the out in Chicago, the vice, I can say vice laws in general, but People Nation and Folk Nation, and you wouldn't understand that you were being indoctrinated again through them. Right, so you are being indoctrinated, Bloods and Crips, but those are really indoctrinations of your removal. You know what I'm saying? Those, and like I said, I'm keep alluding to these shows because I'm actually do it soon. I was actually gonna do one today, but I'm trying to basically set it all together. So while I'm trying to do that, I ran across this because I was like, damn, I wanted to do a show. You know what I mean? And I didn't really, I was combing, Facebook and all of that. And sure enough, this is not from Facebook. This is actually, I was looking through my headlines and my news articles and this popped up. Right. So I said, oh, yo, here we go. I could buy me some time, to I get my to map out my show, and I could give you stuff like this. So, for all of you who's inside of these organizations, understand that there is a head, and that head got you talking low vibrations, high vibrations, and chakra, and all of that is under the same group of people. The witchcraft and all of that stuff, they're all under the same thing. They'll come at the different angles depending on which one might gravitate towards you. See, me, I always affiliated with people, and at times ran with certain ones, but I've never taken no oath or pledge to any of that. Never. You know what I mean? That's just not what, I was about, because I already knew just by seeing certain things, I don't agree with certain things. You might be asking me to do stuff and I'm not. You're telling me that, you're beefing with Latinos. I got Latinos in my family. My grandmother is Cuban. I'm not going to be standing out here and, growing up around massive Latinos, I had mad, Latino friends. So for me to think that, I'm going to start beefing with somebody and then go back in my neighborhood and be looked at funny, no, I'm not like that. I didn't have no conflict with people on language or because they came into this country. And nigga, my peoples came in this country too. So all of those arguments was never an argument for me. But I say that because these are the people within our community who facilitate these problems. So when you asking why is there black on black crime and all of these things, you have to look at these organizations. You need to study them and realize that they are hate mongers, but majority of them are working for the master. They're just here to collect your life, cause confusion and get you bumped off, or you bump you somebody else off and then you bumped off anyway. So these are the facilitators of the conflict. These are them. These are the people that you need to take the time and understand. Don't be somebody getting laughed at, because I'm going to laugh at you. Oh, you must be, somebody, oh, you a coon and whatever, bro. Considering that my record is show you that I've always been about the resistance. I don't need you to blindly be a part of something. That's not fair. That's not fair to you, and that's not fair to any real revolution, because those people are only used as tools. You need your mind liberated. So I give you the absolute truth. I'm giving you absolute truth, things that you can go do your research on, see if they connect, watch how you can see this path, and it can lead you right to those people. This is information that's out there. I don't need to give you false information. Oh, the world is flat and, all of this nonsense. All of that stuff is used to confuse you, and it shows how gullible you really are. It shows, here it is, he had to ask her. She claims she wasn't a sovereign citizen, but that's the sort of telltale signs, right? But then she stated, I am not an American citizen. You are going to get in trouble. Right, and she identifies herself as Joyce Baisley Ali. Right, and then she's actually on the phone, the consultant general of the nation of Moors. So she's being walked into this, and if she's smart, when she got out, she wouldn't be dealing with them, because now you sat in jail for 2 days, right, for some simple stupid shit, just for you to find out that all of that information they giving you is bogus. Straight bogus. The ID was labeled, right, an American Global ID and Liberty Pass. You got to pay attention to these words, right? An American Global ID and Liberty Pass. When does it expire? In 177 years. She has to take some responsibility for stupidity in this. I'm sorry. You would have to take some sense of responsibility, because why would somebody tell you this and you wouldn't go and look it up? Right? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you say the ID was is labeled right in American Global ID? Why wouldn't you take the time to look that up? See if that's really something real, right? And, look up a Liberty Pass and see if these things really exist and last for 177 years. This is not something too hard for you to go research on. You so busy believing these, this right here, Moorish, nation of Moors, right? You believe in that, so that's your problem, belief. You have no substance of knowing for a fact. You don't care about facts. It's not important to you. Just go off of belief. And that's what they train you. I know them. You know what I mean? I know them. I listen to them. Even to this day, I hear them, spewing the bull. Let me put my ad back up there again. All right? I listen to them. And so I tell the people, yo, bro, man, you cannot be this foolish. You can't be. It's impossible to be this foolish. It should be a crime at this point to be that stupid. I'm out, people. You know what I'm saying? One.